Hey guys, hope you're all doing fine. Today I'm going to be solving another problem from Leetcode. This is the very first problem in the list of problems in Leetcode. This is called two-sum, and it says that given an array of integers, nums, and an integer target, return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. So there's an array given and we need to find two elements such that they add up to the value target. So target is basically an input which is an integer, and in the array we have to find two elements such that they add up to the target. And it says that each input would have exactly one solution. And it also says that you may not use the same element twice. And by this, they mean that you cannot use the same index twice. Like, you cannot use index 0 twice to add up to the target. Like in this example, you can see that they have used the same number twice, 3 and 3 equals 6, but not the same index. Index of 0 and 1 have been used, not two index zeros or two index ones. That is what it means by saying you may not use the same element twice. So suppose this is an array of 5 elements and the target is 11. So we need to find two elements that add up to 11. So what we're going to be doing is just traverse through the array, and when we find each value, like suppose this value 6, what is the other value that would add up to 11? That is 11 minus 6 equals 5. So when we're at a certain value, then we need to see if the target value minus that value is present in the array. And to do that, we need to use a map, because we can always check in the map which values are present. So when I'm at 6, and one more thing that I missed out on is, as I'm going through the array, I'm going to store each value so that I can check later on if that value is present or not, if that is needed. Like when I'm at 9, I need to check whether 11, which is the target value in this case, minus 9, the current value, equals 2, whether 2 is present in the array or not. So when we check into the map, we are going to get this 2 because we have already inserted that element into the map. So that's how we're going to traverse through the array, store all the values, and check whether target minus that value is present or not in the array. So like when I'm at this element 6, I already have stored the previous elements. When I'm at 9, I have already stored the previous elements. So that is the case. So if I'm at index of n, then I'm going to check. I'm basically checking through the indexes from 0 till n minus 1 into the map, whether that value is present within those indexes. So it is pretty simple. And if you guys haven't understood what I said, you can just repeat or rewind the video and I'm sure you will understand. Now let's get to the coding. So as I said, I'm going to use a map of integer, which is going to store the values present in the array. And simply I'm going to loop through the array. So nums.size I plus plus. Excuse me. Now we're going to check if mymap.find, and the value would be, of course, target, the input number, minus the current number, nums of I, whether that value is present or not in the map. If it is present in the map, then we have encountered that value previously. And if that is the case, then these two numbers would of course add up to target. And we have to return a vector of integers, the two indexes of the two desired numbers. So we're going to return those indexes. Now, what am I going to returning? What will I return here? That is like when I see a number, I am going to store the index of that number so that if that number is needed to be used as the answer, I know the index. So what I'm going to do is, if that number is not in the map, then I'm going to insert it in the map, the current number that is. IMAP.insert nums of I, and the value is I for the key nums of I. So this I is basically the index of that number. So if nums of I, whatever that number is, if you have to use it in the answer, if it becomes target minus nums of I later on, then we can use this index of I into this vector, the result vector, okay? And in this result vector, of course, we're going to store the current index and this value over here. So my map nums of I. No, actually it's target minus nums of I. Okay. So suppose when I'm at 2, I store the index, so I insert 2 comma 0 into the map. So 2 is the number and 0 is the index. And when I get to 9, then of course 11 minus 9 would be 2. So 2 is present in the map and 0 was the index. So I return the index of this 9, which is 3 and 0. So that is basically why I am storing the indexes. Let's run this. It's taking quite a bit of time. Okay. Alright, now submit it. And there it is. So it is pretty simple, and if you haven't understood what I have said, just see the video again and just try to understand. It's pretty simple and there's no reason why you will not understand this problem. So this was a pretty simple problem. So hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and feel free to comment and give a feedback, and of course don't forget to like the video, and I will see you guys next time.